Welcome to Truth, Money, and Freedom. Today is Friday, April 19th, 2019. Hey, gang, I've got a story for you here. Some of you may like it, some of you may not. It's just pointing out facts, and it's called Bitcoin Will Be the Escape Hatch During Imminent Global Recession. Uh, this is, I'm not going to read this, but it is actually a very interesting story. I will link it down below. But I want to address basically some of the credibility of it. Now, we had a financial crisis in 2008. Bitcoin did not exist. Bitcoin came along in 2009 and it was brand spanking new. It was a joke. No one wanted it. Very few people would even, the only way you could get it was mining it. I mean, you couldn't even, when it first came out, you couldn't even buy it. And then in 2010, I think there was only one place in the world that would take Bitcoin, and that was some wool sock makers, I think somewhere in the UK. And gosh only knows what they've done, but they probably got a lot of Bitcoin during that period, where they were the only retailer, I think, on the planet that would actually take Bitcoin. But Bitcoin has become a thing now, and for many different reasons. It is very fast, it's very cheap to use, and you can conduct transactions, basically from country to country without banking fees and all kinds of, and it's somewhat anonymous as well. And that's the attraction of Bitcoin. Now, it is a digital currency. It does not have any physical, properties to it. But backing up Bitcoin is a blockchain, which is a digital ledger. Now, most of you already know all this and what Bitcoin represents, but the story here is Bitcoin will be the escape hatch during an imminent global recession. And I think we had a trial run of that in 2011. That's what I wanted to talk about. And that was Cyprus and Greece. You guys remember in 2011, there was a lot of feces and a lot of underwear because the Eurozone was in real trouble with Cyprus and Greece. Now, the bailouts were already happening, but we were talking about bailing out entire nations. And the ECB ended up doing so under some really strict guidelines, which led to austerity. And Greece and Cyprus are forever changed until they find a different way to get out of that debt, the ECB debt with the euro. Now, Bitcoin, during that period that I just discussed, went up from, I believe it was from $200 all the way to $1,000 because people were trying to get their money out of Cyprus and Greece, and that was an easy, quick way to do it. And gold and silver went up in that year too. So, I mean, make no mistake, I mean, what was and what has been and what always will be money also went up, gold and silver. But Bitcoin, being an escape hatch, is actually something that we talk about at Truth, Money, and Freedom, and not just Bitcoin, other cryptocurrencies as well. But Bitcoin, of course, is it's the granddaddy, and it's 50% of the entire market cap. I mean, there's like 3,000 coins out there, and Bitcoin has 50% of all the money in crypto in itself. So the other 50% of the money in crypto belongs between 300 or 3,000 coins. That's how big and powerful Bitcoin is. So a lot of people see it as an investment avenue. Basically, can I ride this market up just like stock markets? And yes, there was a very wonderful ride up that many of us took with cryptocurrencies, and it's been, kind of not only just an interesting ride, but it was an educational one to understand a lot of things about, cryptocurrencies and how they work. The reason I'm doing this video is I don't want you guys to count out the possibility of getting some Bitcoin. Because if it becomes an escape hatch, now I realize that there are people out there that have, maybe some reservations with getting into, the digital currency, cryptocurrencies, and I get it. I understand. But if Bitcoin becomes an escape hatch, it would be a really good idea to have a little bit of it, is all I'm saying. Now, I'm a silver and gold guy, but I also have crypto. So, and as a friend who got me into crypto, who worked on me very hard for 4 months, he really said, "What's your backup plan for silver? What's your backup plan for gold?" I said, "There's no backup plan. You don't need any. It's silver and gold, man." And so, at any rate, after I thought about it, it made perfect sense to basically go ahead and get that to hedge my bets, if you will. But at any rate, that's why I brought this story up. And we don't have enough time with Bitcoin to know how it's going to do in a financial crisis because it missed the last one. And that was a global financial crisis. That's very important to understand, gang. The next global, our economies worldwide are linked. They are linked through the derivative markets, through the banks, and that is very important to understand. Think of tethering all the banks together. And if one of them falls, basically the tether between all the other banks should be able to hold it up, right? Well, with derivatives, if you lose a big bank like JP Morgan or Deutsche Bank, they've got too much weight. They've got too many derivatives. When they go down, they're going to take the whole banking system with them. Now, it may not be instantaneous. It may take 3 to 6 months to take down the entire banking network, but it is possible. Bitcoin may be one of the things that many people run to, and this is why I'm making this video. If a lot of people run to Bitcoin, the price will escalate to something that's probably going to be out of reach for you for the rest of your life. So that's why I think it's a good idea to hedge your bets and maybe get just a little bit of Bitcoin. By the way, I am not a financial advisor or a consultant. This is what I have done for me and my family. It makes sense to have a little bit of Bitcoin. I'm not saying sell the family farm and buy Bitcoin. I'm not saying that at all. I still love having gold and silver, and I've never changed. I'll never change. I will always have my gold and silver, but I also have a little bit of crypto, and I think it's a good idea to do so. And if we go into another big global meltdown, I think Bitcoin could go up in value so rapidly that it could probably make you a little bit of money. So that's something to think of too on the flip side. And at any rate, that's the whole reason why I decided to make this video specifically with this article. I will link it down below, and it is something I just want you guys to think about. Once again, it's just food for thought. It might be a good idea to hold a little bit of it. And I wouldn't wait thinking it's going to come down. I mean, I've heard a lot of people saying it's going down to 1,000. It's going down to 1,800. It's currently at 5,200, 5,300 or something. I personally wouldn't recommend waiting for it to go down to 1,800 or 1,000 because I personally don't think it's going back down there. I really don't. I think it's the lowest, we've seen it go in this cycle is 3,800, I think $3,800. So all the people saying, oh, it's going to 1,800 or it's going to 1,000, they have not, been right. They've not been correct as of yet. But it is something I want you to think about. Please throw something in the comment section if you guys have additional concerns or questions or comments about this video, about Bitcoin, about the blockchain, about, basically any concerns you have about even putting a little bit of money into it. And I will try to answer those for you. I'm not a cryptocurrency expert, but I am very familiar with most cryptocurrencies and the blockchains and how to get in and how to get out. And those things can be dealt with, very easily. So I just wanted you to think about it. If you have gold and silver, there is a reason you have gold and silver, and that's because you don't believe the dollar is going to survive. At some point, it's going to die. Well, that's common sense. That right there, that's not a big mental leap. So if you believe the dollar's going to die, what if more money went into cryptocurrencies than went into gold and silver when the dollar dies? I know it's a big what if, but it is something I want you to think about. Okay, gang, that's it for tonight. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. This is Good Friday, so I'm hoping everyone had a wonderful Good Friday, a blessed one. We have Easter coming up on Sunday. I'll be working this weekend, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to put out any videos, but you guys all take care. God bless you all. Have a wonderful Easter.